Okay, so here we are, and let's talk a little bit about the Padron family. Padron is a fantastic company, built from nothing, from the ground up by a single family. They are a Nicaraguan cigar company, started in 1964, so the first factory opened when the operation first started. And now it's, just gigantic, world-renowned cigar company. Some of the best, in my opinion, some of the best non-Cuban cigars on the market. Especially, this is, that's a big thing to say with all the non-Cuban cigars on the market, especially for a cigar that's so different from a Cuban cigar, because they really are. Bit of a sourish type note, and wow, there's a lot of kind of burning wood, like this. Very nice. Very nice. Forming a really, really nice, tight ash, which is very light in color, almost whitish, very light gray to white around the edges, and the burn is just about dead even on a box press cigar. Very nice. This thing is obviously done well in the humidor. So Padron, what can I say about Padron? We'll start out with the fact that I met them, and they're great people. Great people. I met the owner, Jose Padron. A lot of people just call him the old man, and he is a great guy. He is a character, man. He gets all pissed off if he's in a place he can't smoke a cigar, and he's just in heaven when he can. He would come in the lounge, and the first thing he would be like is, "Where are the cigars?" But it was obviously to be, funny, because he had a shirt pocket full of 44 Naturals. That's what he prefers to smoke, which is a very high-end, expensive Padron cigar, the first in the Family Reserve line, which is their highest-end cigars. And, then he has his son, George Padron, who is a fantastic guy. He handles most of the business transactions, and talk to him a lot about, what we need and how much this is going to be, and, all sorts of dealings and stuff like that. And then Rudy Padron, who's just a lot of fun to talk to about the Padron cigars, and I would ask him all sorts of questions. He would answer. Then I would get to the one and be like, "Well, how does the fermentation process work?" And he'd be like, "We're not even drinking." He said once, "We're not even drinking. You ask me that, I can't tell you." But good guy as well. And Padron at the shop was our bread and butter. We sold more Padrons than anything else. Anything. I mean, tens and hundreds of thousands of them. I've smoked hundreds myself over the period working there. I did the math. I don't know if I have it on this video. I forget. In case I didn't say it before, if I smoked 3 Padrons a week while working at the shop for over 5 years, that would be over 600 Padrons. And trust me, I smoked more than 3 a week. So I've smoked probably over 1,000 Padrons since working there, and have gotten a real affinity for the flavor of them. They are just fantastic. For the most part, they're a full-bodied line. If you're really used to full-bodied cigars and that's all you smoke, then maybe you'd find the 1,000, their standard line, to be medium full. But for the most part, they do vary in strength, but they're all full-bodied. They just get fuller and fuller. For the most part, there are 3 standard lines, and each made up of anywhere from 8 to a dozen shapes. And every shape is made in either natural or Maduro. Now, like I said, they're natural cigar. They're both great. I love them both. Most people tend to like the Maduro, at least from when they were buying. I tend to love the naturals. To me, they're a little more like Cuban cigars. They remind me in certain aspects of Cuban cigars, which is my favorite. Just my favorite flavor comes from that type of blend. So they're really great. You can buy Padron, like I said again, anywhere from like $3 to $35, $40, depending on where you are and what the taxes are. And the 3 lines are basically what you call Padron Standard Line, brown labeled, or 1,000 series, which is like, they have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Those are all the different shapes. They range from tiny little Delicious, which is like, mini Corona, all the way up to even small. They make little tins of Corticos, which are small little cigarillo type cigars, all the way up to a giant 7,000, which is like a big 60 ring gauge Churchill, and all those shapes are in natural Maduro. Then they have the 64 series, which is what we're smoking here, and there you have cigars by name, which are like, you know, Principe, Exclusivo, Monarca, a lot of names you find in old Cuban cigars, you know, Diplomatico, Imperiales, so a whole bunch of stuff like that. And then you have the 1926 series, which are numbered again, but there you have like number 2, number 6, number 9, number 35, number 1s, which great big Churchill size. So, oh wow! And in the standard line, you have some names too, like the Magnum, which is a giant double Corona. And anyway, the main difference, they're all 100% Nicaraguan sun-grown tobacco grown on the Padron Ranch. They're all put through Padron's special fermentation process. The biggest difference between the three lines is how long the process is left for, how long the tobacco is aged. And we're not talking about like aging a cigar in a humidor. We're talking about aging entire giant bales of tobacco. The one we're smoking here, the 1964 series, is aged for 4 years. The 26 series, which is more expensive, is aged for 5 years. And the regular series is still aged for no less than 3 years. So that I find amazing, that, you know, cigar companies brag when they have a 5-year-old wrapper or a 10-year-old wrapper. Here you have entire cigars made of tobacco that's been held for 5 years before it's even turned into a cigar. You know, and then they came out with their Family Reserve series, which jumps. These are the most expensive, highest-end cigars in the Padron range, and all the tobacco in these cigars is aged for no less than 10 years. That I find incredible. Incredible. Even if you compare, like you say, Monte to Gran Reserva, which you buy and it's like, wow, because it's from a 2007 crop, and those came out in, what, 2011 or something like that, so 8, 9, 10, yeah, like 5-year aged or somewhere between 5 and 7, and I don't know if that's all the tobacco or the wrapper, I forget, but even, and then they're like $1,500 a box. That's crazy. You know, we're talking, here's a cigar, every bit of tobacco in it's aged 10 years, and they are expensive, I mean, but, you know, they come in boxes of 10. I guess it's almost the same price. The things cost like 40, 45 bucks, and they come in boxes of 10, so that's $450. 2 boxes is 20, that would be 900. I guess it's about the same price, actually, doing the math. Maybe a little less. Here, anyway, because I've heard these things cost an arm and a leg if you try to buy them over in Europe. Very good cigar. Smoking nicely, burning nicely. So that's the main difference between the lines. And, you know, Padron has become one of the most prestigious brands over the year, prestigious non-Cuban brands, heavily recognized by Cigar Aficionado. They're pretty much always in the top 10, if not always, and they have won #1 cigar of the year several times over. I think one of the first times was 2004 when the 40th anniversary cigar took #1 cigar of the year, 40th anniversary Maduro. Those I forgot to mention. You have your 40th anniversary and 80th anniversary. And those are actually still part of the 26 line, the 5-year age tobacco, but they're more expensive because of the torpedo shape and the perfecto shape of the 80th. The 40th, there's too, the lines. What is 64 line, 26 line? Well, 1926 line, 64 line is simply named for the date on which the company started. The 1926 line is named for the date of which Jose Padron, the owner of Padron Cigars and patriarch of the family, was born. So there you have that. After the 40th anniversary, got #1 cigar of the year in 2004. I believe it was 2007 that the #9 Maduro got #1 cigar of the year. Then in 2008, there was kind of like a fluke where the 80th anniversary cigar would have taken #1 cigar of the year. It took #2, and the Casa Magna took #1. Okay? And everybody was like, that's fucking crazy. A Casa Magna is nowhere near as good as an 80th anniversary. I mean, what are these people smoking? And the biggest reason they basically said, well, what we decided was there's such a steep price difference that, so we're burning through our Oh, where did I ash? Damn it! I wanted to get that in the tray to try harder. We're getting through the first third of our Padron, starting to come into the second, and the cigar is mellowing out very nicely. The spice is subsiding a lot, but it's still there. And I'm getting these citrusy notes at the tip of the tongue with a lot of just wood and nutty, kind of a nuttiness underneath. Very, very good tasting smoke. Very citrusy taste on the tip of the tongue there. Here's an example of where I have a little bit of wrapper that's kind of not burning off there. I'm not going to touch that, just because I think it's just going to kind of work its way in. Padrones, I have never, ever, ever, like I said, I've smoked over 1,000 of these things. I've never had a plugged Padron or a Padron I couldn't draw from. Their rolling process is fantastic. Their quality control is fantastic. Fantastic. Nice leathery flavor now, and the smoke is not extremely creamy. It's still a very, like I said, it's a dry type of smoke. It has a little bit of texture to it, a little density, but for the most part it's a very dry, airy smoke with a lot of leatheriness to it at this point. A lot of leather and spice. Pockets of spice still opening up. There was one. Roof of the mouth again. It's funny how it kind of mellows out and then pop, zing, pop, zing. You know, I'm wondering how like the tobacco is worked in there to give you that kind of effect. Their blend is, the consistency of their blend is amazing. They always taste great. They always taste great, and they always have a very distinct flavor to them. All right, we're gonna continue to smoke we're into the second third now, and as I work through it, I'll take notes in my head and I'll tell you what I get. So there you have it, Padron Exclusivo 1964 series. I gave you a brief overview of what the Padron brand is and what the different lines are and how it works, and you know, the differences between them. And we'll continue to review this wonderful full-bodied cigar when we get back. Alright, well, still doing our cigar review. Like I said, got responsibilities. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. This is Maxie. This is my cigar dog. Where are you going? She doesn't want this one. Maxie eats cigar butts, but she only eats Cuban cigar butts. It's hilarious. If I leave an ashtray with Cuban cigar butts in it, she will go through it and they'll be missing, gone. She'll eat them. If I leave an ashtray with standard cigar butts in it, they'll be all over the floor, but she does not eat them. It's very weird. Do I have a cigar butt? Watch this. Here is, okay, here's a little bag of Cuban cigar butts from what we've been smoking recently. Alright? Look at that. Look! Yeah? Alright. Hold on. Like the D4? The D4? Yeah? I let her just chew a little bit. I don't let her eat them. She'll get sick. You like the D4? Yeah? You like that? You like the D4? Oh, where you going? Come here. Isn't that crazy? Come here, girl. Come on, we're gonna go outside, girl. Come on. Anyway, Maxie's my dog. She's a very timid dog, and she's very scared. She was an adoption from Tennessee, and she's very, very protective of me. You like that? Oh, she's sniffing a bouquet. She's very protective of me. I have to be careful with her right now around other people. If I have visitors over, she's like, ah! She's half lab, half Rottie, and she's a great guard dog. She makes a great guard dog, but I do want her to be a little more on command with, like, you know, stop, you know, like as far as, unless I'm under attack. But all right, girl, you want to go out on your leash? I'm going to let her outside in the back, and we'll continue our review.